Now we're going to talk about finding the equations of lines. You have to use steps here too, and if you always use those steps, you won't mess up, if you're lucky. No, everybody messes up on arithmetic. I hate numbers. I'd rather have letters. You don't mess up as often when all you've got is letters. But anyway, find an equation of the line containing the given pair of points. That means there's a line somewhere. And these are two of the points that are on the line. Now, if truth be told, there are an infinite number of points on the line, but we only know two of them, -9, and 4, 4. We're going to find the equation of the line that contains those points. Once we have the equation of the line, we can find other points. That's the goal. So, follow these steps. And here we have the instructions for how you're going to answer. We're going to find an answer in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. But the first thing we do is we find the slope from those 2 points. If you don't find the slope, you can't find the equation of the line. You've got to find the slope first. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Label your points and go by how you've labeled them. The way I labeled the 2 points gives me y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which gives me 13 over 13, which gives me 1. The slope is 1. How easy can you get? Who would have thought? Step 2. Once we have the slope, we can find the equation of the line by using what's called the point-slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You've done all this before. In fact, you did this in intermediate algebra for sure, but you may have even done it in beginning algebra. I know you found slope in beginning algebra. So, this is y1, this is x1. I have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Remember, minus minus is plus, so I'll have y plus 9 equals x plus 9. To solve for y, I subtract 9 from both sides, and look at that, 9 zeros out on both sides of the equation. So I have y equals x. Yes, that's an equation of the line. In fact, it's a basic equation, a basic function that you're going to learn about later. This is f of x equals x, and it's called the identity function. It's very important, as you'll find later. Identity function. It's called the identity function because if y equals x, then y and x are always equal. They're the same exact number. It's also, this equation is the parent of all the straight lines. It's cool. We're going to talk more about that later too. All right, now we're going to find the equation of parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that go Side by side. Well, I thought I hit blue. Side by side. Now see, now I've messed it up. Okay. Well, I don't care. All right, let's do it the right way. Parallel lines go side by side. Yeah, all right. Go side by side forever. That's probably not perfectly parallel, but it's the best I can do. Let's try again going this way. I must be hitting these too fast. I'll have to slow down. Okay, or they could be like this. Or like this. Okay, this is a positive slope. This is a negative slope. For all horizontal lines, the slope is 0. You've studied this before too, and that was in beginning algebra. And vertical lines have undefined slopes. We'll talk about why. I keep saying that. I know it must be really irritating. M is undefined. I'll tell you the reason now, and then we'll elaborate later. M is undefined. The slope of vertical lines. Shut up, phone. That's where my phone is. I was looking for it. The slope of vertical lines is undefined because the slope is much too large to be measured. That's the reason, if you're interested. Meanwhile, let's get to parallel lines. Parallel lines have equal slopes. That's very important. Because what we're going to do is this. Write an equation of the line. Write an equation of the line containing the given point and parallel to the given line. Okay, what this means is there's a line somewhere that's parallel to this line right here. And that other line that we're finding goes through this point. So if there's another line that's parallel to that line, all we have to do is find the equation, the slope of this line, and it will be the same as the slope, of the line we're looking for, because they're parallel. So here's what you do. Step 1. Find the slope of the given line. And this is called the given line because it's like given at the very beginning. So I'm going to go through all the steps of solving for y, and that will give me the y equals mx plus b form, with the number in front of the x being the slope. So I subtract x from both sides. There's an understood 1 between the negative sign and the x, which gives us -1 times x. Then I divide by 5, which gives me -1/5 x plus 3/5. I don't care about the 3/5. I care about the -1/5. We're only in step 1. we have found the slope of the given line. And because we're looking for a line parallel to this line, it's going to have the same slope. What we do in step 2 is we find the equation of the line parallel to this line. Same slope. And it's going to go through the point 79. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now I'm going to distribute the negative 1/5 into those parentheses. Don't panic. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So I'll have y minus 9 equals negative 1/5 x plus 7/5. Now, how did I get that? Here's how I got it. How I get positive 7/5 is this. Negative 1/5 times negative 7. Negative times negative is positive. So that will give me 1/5 times 7, which is exactly the same thing as 1/5 times 7/1, right? 7/1 and 7 are exactly the same thing. Only now we multiply the numerators together. 1 times 7 is 7. 5 times 1 is 5. And that's how I got 7/5. Just in case you wondered. So now I have y minus 9 equals negative 1/5 x plus 7/5. So y minus 9 plus 9, because I have to get y by itself, plus 9 on both sides. I now have to calculate what the heck is 7/5 plus 9. Well, I can show you how to do this by hand, but you can do it on the calculator too, much more easily. So let's do it. This is the TI-84 Silver Edition, and I highly recommend it. There's also a color one, but it's a lot more expensive. 7/5 plus 9. What is 7/5? It's 7 divided by 5. I'm going to type 7 divided by 5 plus 9. Now, us humans might think that we're supposed to add 5 plus 9. We're not. The calculator knows order of operations. It's going to divide before it adds. So 7/5 plus 9, I could hit enter and get 10.4, but I'm supposed to be answering. Use integers or fractions. You've got to do what my math lab tells you to do. We have to find a fraction. That's going to be a fraction because it's a decimal. So what we're going to do is look at this. I'm going to click on math. In fact, let me bring up this. See if I can make it bigger. I guess I can't. Oh, got it. Okay. I'm going to click on the math button, and that gives me this menu. Frac for fraction is right there at the top. So I hit enter to accept frac. Now this tells me that I'm about to get fracked. No, I'm not. This number is about to get fracked. Enter. 52/5 in lowest terms. You don't have to double check it. So the answer here is 52/5. There. Now I'm noticing that something I forgot to do was finish this up. That's going to give me y equals -1/5 x plus 52 over 5. Piece of cake. Math frac is one of my favorite things on the calculator. And I did put that answer in just to double check myself, keep myself honest. Here's another one, so we can go over the steps again with this homework problem. Again, we're being told the same thing. Write an equation of a line containing this given point and parallel to the given line. We're going to do exactly the same steps. I'm going to find the slope of this line and use it to find the slope of the line that goes through this point. 7x minus 3y equals 4. I solve for the -3y term first by subtracting 7x from both sides of the equation. That leaves me with -3y equals -7x plus 4. Then I divide both sides by -3 by -3 by -3. -7 over -3 is 7/3, and +4 over -3 is -4/3. But again, we don't really care about that right now. We care about this, because we need it right there. Right here. Now, this is y1, this is x1. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This will give me y plus 1 equals, I distribute the 7/3, so let me put arrows here. I distribute 7/3 to x and to -3. And what that gives me over here is 7/3 x minus 3 times 7/3, which gives me 7/3 minus 7. Now, how did I come out with that? I'm subtracting 3 and multiplying it by 7/3. Positive. That'll be -3 over 1 times 7/3. When you're multiplying fractions, and this number are the same, you get to cancel. But another way to do this is to say 3 divided by 1 is 1, and 3 divided by 1 is 1. So I have -1 over 1 times 7 over 1. That's going to be -7, or minus 7. So we'll have y plus 1 equals 7/3 x minus 7. And then I have to get y by itself, so I subtract 1, and I'm left with y equals 7/3 minus 8. Let's see if that's correct. It is. Y equals is provided for you. What you're going to need to type into my math lab is 7/3 x minus 8. And you'll notice that the answer box is blue in my math lab. Now we're at the hard ones. Perpendicular. What does perpendicular mean? It means you've got two lines. One might look like this. A line perpendicular to it would look like wiggly. I don't want wiggly. Would look like this. Perpendicular lines cross like that. See, when I let up, it moves a little bit. But there is, if drawn correctly, a 90-degree angle. There, here, 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 and here. A 90-degree angle between the lines. So the same thing is going to be true if you have one of them at an angle like this, which would have M positive, oops, M being positive slope, a line rising from left to right has a positive slope. Then if a line is perpendicular to it, it's going to cross that line that way. Ooh, pretty good. This slope is negative. Yep. Well, almost good. Almost good. M is negative. Okay. And you've got your 90-degree angle. And there, and there. So that's what a perpendicular line is. The slopes of two lines that are perpendicular to each other have this relationship. It's called opposite reciprocal. Here's an example that has nothing to do with our line, I don't think. If you have one line, let's call it line 1. Like maybe that line. If line 1 has slope equals 2/3, I just made that up. This isn't this one, it's just an example. If line 1 has a slope of 2/3, then line 2 has a slope of -3/2. Opposite sign and reciprocal of that. That's what opposite reciprocals are. And again, this is just an example of what opposite reciprocals are. Now, we're going to change our 2 steps a little bit to 3 steps, because perpendicular lines are a little more complicated. But just like before, step 1 is finding the slope of the given line. Your old hat at that. So I'll get y by itself by subtracting 9x from both sides. Here, the slope of the given line is -9. Now step 2 is different. It has an A, B, and C part. Here's what you do. Step A, write the slope from step 1 as a fraction. Usually slopes are fractions. Sometimes they're not. -9 is an integer, but you can always write it as a fraction. So write it as a fraction, -9/1. Now this is very important. Step B, 2B. So maybe I should put 2 here. 2A, 2B, 2C. But this is 2B, step 2B. Change the slopes. Change the slopes, I should have put an apostrophe there. Change the slopes sign. That is, it was negative. Change that negative to positive. And of course, when a number is positive, we don't have any sign in front of it. I personally think we should always put pluses in front of positive numbers, just so we know for sure. But, oh well, things are the way they are. Now comes step 2C. Take the reciprocal of this new slope, 9/1. It's 1/9, positive 1/9. The new slope, the slope of the perpendicular line is 1/9. So you write the slope of the given line as a fraction if it's not already a fraction. In step 2B, you change the sign. In step 2C, you take the reciprocal of the new slope you've got in 2B. And then step 3, you find the equation of the line with that slope, the slope of the perpendicular line, because you're finding the equation of the perpendicular line. And there's the answer. But, okay, it's going to go through this point, 5, 7. Right. So we'll have y minus 7 equals 1/9 times x minus 5. I distribute 1/9. Baba. Baba. 1/9 times x minus 1/9 times 5. That is minus 5 times 1/9. Now, again, minus 5 times 1/9 is minus 5 over negative 5. Well, it is a minus back here, though. 5/1, negative 5/1 times positive 1/9. That's going to give us, we multiply the numerators together, we multiply the denominators together, and this is going to give us negative 5/9. Which is how I got negative 5/9. All right, so we start out with y minus 7 equals 1/9 x minus 5/9. And then to get y by itself, I add 7 to the negative 7 because they zero out. 1/9 x minus 5/9 plus 7. Again, I could do that by hand, but I can also do it on the calculator. So see what I did. I typed negative 5 divided by 9 plus 5, and the calculator automatically knows the order of operations. It's going to calculate negative 5/9 first, right there, and then add 7 to it. Now, I wasn't going to hit enter, it's not necessary, but I did it. Then, I think my cat just caught a bird. I have to go rescue it. So here's the answer. I math frac it. I hit the math button. And the frac which is enter, and then enter. And that gives me 58/9. I don't hear anything. Interesting. Let's see if we can actually get to the last problem. One of my jobs is to rescue the garden snakes, not poisonous, and the birds in my backyard and my front yard from my cats. I don't dare try to rescue it from another cat, but from my cats, yes. Okay, it may be too late though, because I don't hear anything going on. All right, again, write the equation of the line containing the given point and perpendicular to the given line. We're going to use all the same steps. Oh, and I'm going to have the joy of actually doing this for you because it appears I didn't do it before. Okay, step 1. I'm going to find the equation of 9x, the slope of 9x plus 7y equals 6. So I write 9x plus 7y, and I leave a space, and then equals, and I leave a space. This is a positive 6, so I write plus 6. Now I need to get 9x away from the 7y. So since it's added on, I subtract it off. But I want to use a different color. If it were negative, I would have added it, but usually this term is positive because there's a rule. Okay. Minus 9y. Now, 9x minus 9x is 0, so I'm left with 7y. 7y equals negative 9y plus 6. To get y by itself, I divide by 7, divide by 7, divide by 7. So y equals negative 9/7 y plus 6/7. But this, of course, is what I'm looking for. The slope of the given line is negative 9/7. Now I move on to step 2. In step A, I write the slope as a fraction. But it's already a fraction, so I really don't have to do anything. Step B, step 2B, this is 2A, 2B. In step 2B, I change the sign. So this is going to be positive 9/7. In step 2C, I take the reciprocal, 7/9. Then in step 3, I use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now let's see what these are. y1 is negative 9, x1 is 5. So this is going to be y minus negative 9 equals 7/9 times x minus 5. So let's make sure that's correct. Yes, it is. Okay. Now, y minus 9 is going to be y plus 9 equals, I'm going to distribute. 7/9 x minus 5 times 7/9. Now minus or negative 5 times 7/9 is negative 5/1 times 7/9. That will be negative 35 over 1 times 9 is 9. And yeah, okay. I'd rather have the minus sign down in front like that, because negative times positive is negative. So that will give us y plus 9 equals 7/9 x minus 35/9. Then to get y by itself, I'll subtract 9 and subtract 9. So y equals 7/9 x. You can do this in the calculator or you can do it by hand. Let's do it in the calculator. Move this, put it over here. I am going to take negative 35 divided by 9 minus 9. And I'm going to push the math button. You see the math button right there, math. I'm going to accept frac by hitting enter, but look at this. You could also click on 1 because number 1 is frac. 1. Same thing as hitting enter. And then I hit enter again. And I get negative 116 minus 9. I have no idea what the MyMathLab answer is. Let's take a look. Yes! Woo! 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 Okay. That's the end of part 1. You still have part 2 to look at. In fact, I'm thinking of separating the parallel and perpendicular line problems, and I may or I may not. So that may become part 2, and then the next part will be part 3. But either way you look at it, all you're going to have to do is go to Module 1 and click on the link in order to be sent to YouTube and be able to watch the video. So you get to hear me, wonderful me, saying it again. Or if you're in the online class, I'll be saying it the first time, but you can play it over and over again. All right, I'll talk to you later, and I'm going to go see if a bird got. I hope not. Bye-bye.